A warm golden light bathed the cozy living room. Framed photos rested on a crocheted doily. A small mantel clock ticked steadily. An armchair creaked as Rose, a woman in her late 70s, folded her knitting and set it on her lap. She listened to the silence. No phone, no television, just the ticking of the clock and the sound of wind against the windows. She stared at the mantel, a framed black and white photo of a man in military uniform. Walter. Rose. Softly. Another Tuesday. She closed her eyes. The house smelled like chamomile and cedar. Her fingers absently traced the worn fabric of the armchair. Everything in this room had a story, a memory, but those stories had grown quiet. Suddenly, ding dong. The doorbell jolted her. She slowly rose, using her cane for support, and walked toward the door. EXT. Rose's front porch. Continuous. Rose opened the door. A man stood on the porch, early 40s, clean-shaven, wearing a wrinkled brown jacket and holding an old photograph. Man, excuse me, is Walter home? Rose froze. Her face lost color. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Man, concerned. Are you, are you Mrs. Rose Harper? She nodded slowly. Man, softly. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. This, this might be hard to explain. He offered the photograph. It was faded, creased, decades old. It was Walter, young, smiling, in uniform, holding hands with Rose. Rose, where, where did you get this? Man, he gave it to me. Told me to find you if anything ever happened. Rose, whispers, that's impossible. Man, my name is Daniel, Daniel Price. He hesitated. Daniel, he saved my life in 1984. Rose, in disbelief. Walter died in 2003. Daniel lowered his gaze, looked shaken. He pulled a folded paper from his pocket. Daniel, he said you'd understand. Int. Rose's kitchen. Moments later. Steam rose from 2 cups of tea. Daniel and Rose sat at the table. Between them lay the photograph, the letter, and a slowly growing sense of unease. Daniel. It was in Berlin. I was just a kid, barely 18, military brat, reckless, always pushing the boundaries. Rose. Walter was stationed there in '84. Daniel. We met by chance. He found me in an alley, beaten up, high, half out of my mind. He carried me to the base hospital. He looked at the photo. Daniel, softly. And then he vanished. Didn't leave a name. Just said, if I don't make it home, find Rose Harper. Rose, that sounds like him. She touched the edge of the photo, hands trembling. Rose Contied. But why come now? Why after all this time? Daniel opened his wallet, pulled out a silver chain. Attached was a small locket. Inside was a folded scrap of newspaper, Walter's obituary. Daniel. I didn't know he'd passed. Not until 3 weeks ago. A friend recognized his name in the paper and sent me the clipping. Rose. He never told me about you. Daniel hesitated. Daniel, he didn't want to, but you should read the letter. N.T. Rose's kitchen. Later. The letter was open. Rose's eyes were wet. My dearest Rose, if this ever finds you, it means something's happened that I couldn't stop. I met a boy today. Reminded me of the brother I never had. Reckless, brave, lost. I see so many like him, but this one stuck with me. I didn't want to worry you, but I had to write this. If he comes to you someday, welcome him. He's not our child, but maybe he's the closest thing we'll ever have. I love you forever. Walter. Rose whispers, He never told me. Daniel sat in respectful silence. The moment stretched. Montage. Days passing. Rose and Daniel walked through the old neighborhood. They went through boxes in the attic. She showed him photos. They visited Walter's grave together. Rose laughed, genuinely, for the first time in a long time. They cooked together, shared stories, looked through Walter's journals. Daniel began reading aloud, Walter's reflections, fears, hopes, and codes that meant little then, but now seemed part of something larger. But a shadow grew over Daniel's face. Something was bothering him. Int. Rose's house. Evening. Rose noticed him staring at the fireplace. Rose. You're holding something back. Daniel. There's more. Rose. Say it. Daniel breathed in. Daniel. I think someone's watching me. I didn't want to tell you. Rose. What do you mean? Daniel. Since I got that newspaper clipping, I've had strange calls. No one speaks. A car that keeps following me. And 2 days before I came here, my apartment was broken into. Rose stiffened. Rose, why would anyone follow you? Daniel pulled out the letter again. Daniel. Because I think Walter knew something. Something dangerous. Empty attic, night. They searched Walter's old army trunk. Dust, metals, journals. In the back was a compartment, hidden. Inside, a tape, labeled for Rose or Daniel. They stared at it. Empty. Rose's living room. Later. The tape played. Walter's voice. Tape. If you're hearing this, then the men I feared finally caught up with me. There was something I found in Berlin, something they buried deep, but I couldn't let it go, and neither should you. Rose covered her mouth. Walter, tape. Inside the green book in the attic are the coordinates. Daniel jumped up. Daniel, I saw a green book. Int attic. Moments later, they found it. Inside, a photo, maps, and a sheet of coordinates. On the back of the photo, Project Echo, classified 1983. Daniel stared in disbelief. Daniel, this isn't just military. This is intelligence work. Rose, he was just a communications officer. Daniel. No, Rose, he was something else. NT, Rose's house, next day. Rose found her mailbox open. Inside, a note. Stop digging. Some truths need to stay buried. She showed it to Daniel. They both understood. They'd gone too far. Int, library, computer station. Daniel traced the coordinates, an abandoned facility in rural Germany, a location that didn't appear on official records. NT Rose's house, that night. The phone rang. Rose. Hello? Silence. Then male voice, distorted. Tell Daniel to stop, or he'll end up like Walter. Click. Int. Daniel's motel room. Night. Daniel stared at an open laptop, the screen filled with maps, declassified files, and search history. Paranoia filled the air. Every knock made him jump. The walls seemed to close in. Then, a soft knock. He opened the door. A note was taped to it. You were warned. He closed the door, locked it, turned off the lights. EXT, cemetery, day. Rose stood alone. The wind was strong. She placed a fresh flower on Walter's grave. Rose, softly. What did you find? Behind her, Daniel approached. He held a folder. Daniel. They tried to erase him, but I kept digging. He opened the folder. Inside were documents, declassified, photographs, names. Daniel Conti D. He exposed something they didn't want known, a listening station using civilians, and he buried the evidence. Rose's eyes welled up. Rose. He was protecting them, even if it meant losing himself. Daniel. He didn't lose himself. He found something worth dying for. Int Rose's living room, night. They sat by the fire. Rose, you came looking for answers. Daniel, and found family. He gave her the locket. She closed it in her palm. Rose, you're not just someone he saved. You're someone he chose. Fade out. Some ghosts don't haunt us to scare us. They haunt us to remind us we were never alone. End.